a pike unit frontally. Mind you, if you spread out pikes too thin or box them in too tight, then that's when sword units tend to wreak havoc on them. Because if these guys are like 2 lines deep, then yes, they're still pushing back any infantry unit or cav unit, but eventually there will be gaps where infantry units can come in and hit these guys. And like I said with the other pike unit, I mean the regular pike unit, they do not have the same melee defense as a hoplite and will probably die quicker. I already went over pikemen, and as I mentioned before, there's a better version, thorax pikemen. They're the thorax version. They're the thorax version of a pike, aka the pike version of a thorax swordsman or spearman. They have 39 melee attack, which is nice, 24 weapon damage, 9 charge, 33 melee defense, 70 armor, 55 health, 55 morale. Just like Parthia, they have Persian light archers, nothing special, Eastern javelin, Eastern slingers, peltas. I already went over light peltas. However, there's the next unit. These guys are Bactrian peltas are the exact same as light peltas. However, they have the added bonus of having the same armor as peltas. Makes them quite nice to have. Syrian archers are the units that I was trying to refer to before. However, they do not have 35 missile damage. I mean, they do not have 40 missile damage. If the unit that has 40 missile damage is called the heavy Syrian archers, or Syrian heavy archers. Rome has them, and I think those Seleucids have them as well. 40 armor, 50 health, 40 morale. Elite Persian archers, both Baktria and Parthia has them. Move over to shock cav. Bactrian royal cav I already went over. Hellenic cataphracts. Before I continue, let me just check something. Yeah. Royal cataphracts are better. However, Hellenic cataphracts are not far off. They're almost similar, except they have less melee attack, but they have better melee defense than Royal cataphracts. It works out well for them. It works out well for Hellenic units, Hellenic factions that have cataphracts or heavy shock cav. Because when you're dealing with a barbarian faction, for example, barbarians overall tend to have less armor and therefore falter when it comes to shock cav. However, you miss micro these guys and there will be a waste of money. I've seen it happen before. In fact, I've done it too. You move over to melee cav. Bactrian light horse are the light version, the Bactrian version of a light cav. Nothing special with them. 55 armor, 75 health, 30 morale. Citizen cav or citizen cav. Bactrian noble horse are the Bactrian version of noble blood cav. I'm going to go over their stats. I think they're slightly better than noble blood cav. They should be, in fact. Oh no, they have less melee attack. However, they cost slightly more as well. And I guess it's just because of the armor, health, and base morale. Armor is 95, health is 90, base morale is 60. I guess that makes sense. Move over to missile cav. Scythian horse archers. Royal Scythia has these guys. They're not, well, they're mobile, I'll say that. Because they have less armor than others, missile units, they're pretty good for on the move shooting. Mind you, they do have 40 missile damage, 125 range, 6 shots per minute. That's nice. 10 armor, 70 health, 30 morale. Horse skirmishers I've went over. Horse archers I went over. They're slightly worse than Persian horse archers, but whatever. Tarentine cav, Bactrian horse archers are the better version of these guys. 40 missile damage, 125 range, so 35 armor, 75 health, 50 morale. Move over to elephants. Baktria has two types of elephants. We went over Indian war elephants and we went over armored elephants. Artillery is the same for any Hellenic faction. I believe all Hellenic factions will have this, except the Carthaginians. I don't think Carthage has the Greek polybolos. So what is this faction? What is this faction's strengths and weaknesses? This faction is pretty good. They're above average when it comes to missile cav. They have a nice selection of missile infantry. But it's the Bactrian Royal Guard that makes them stand out. Because even though they're worse than regular, high tier Haputes, they have frenzy charge. And I've gone over this a bunch of times, so I won't go over it again. Makes them good for charge damage, and acceleration. But after that, they get tired pretty quickly. You might want to be more defensive if you're playing as Baktria though. Because like I said, just like Athens, they do not have a good selection of sword infantry. When it comes to pikes, most pike units, it doesn't matter what you bring, because like I said, a pike will always beat any unit frontally. So when it comes to a frontal engagement, you don't have to worry about melee attack because they'll always hit. And 24 weapon damage, like it usually comes down to weapon damage. Moving on. The only time melee attack comes into play is when they get flanked or hit in the back. When they get hit in the back, that's when this gets lowered, as well as melee defense. But anyway, you'll notice with higher tier ones that they'll have more melee attack and melee defense. But like I said, because pikes are more effective in frontal engagements, you can use them to flank as well, but it's probably not a good idea because they can be flanked as well. I would almost never bring Levy Pikemen because these guys route quick. Pikemen aren't that much better, and Thorax Pikemen are above, average, but Levy Pikemen can be hit hard by javelins. And I think they used to have 45 armor and 45 health and 35 morale. But it's alright. But that's it. That's it for Baktria. Their strengths lie in their defensive possibilities as well as their ability to charge with their best unit. Their weakness lies with their selection. They're not as diverse, even though they're a hybrid faction. I'm going to do some gameplay with Baktria today though. So let's get started. I know nobody's really watching this stream, but I'm going to do some anyway, just in case somebody wants to watch it later on. And then I'm going to jump into some Company of Heroes 2. So, Baktria. Okay. Here's what I bring, usually when I play as Baktria. I almost never bring elephants, because I'm not good with elephants. Well, in the campaign, when I'm playing as Carthage, I'll bring elephants. Other than that, I won't bring them. I'm bringing a Bactrian Royal Guard because they're shock cav. Now I'm going up against Armenia. Armenia is, they're like Parthia, except they have a nicer selection of cavalry. Well, not that much. I just find Armenia, even though historically they became a kingdom, and not an empire, like they became independent, I think, from Parthia, that they're slightly better. It's kind of weird. I always like to bring Thorax Swordsmen, because you never know what your opponent will bring. 3 Bactrian Royal Guard, 2 Therios Spears. Should I bring Thorax Pike? I don't think I should. Especially because he'll probably bring Cataphracts. And it won't serve me any purpose. Better melee. So I'll bring 3 of these guys and 2 of these guys, and then rely mainly on heavy cav for this battle. Ooh, 10 off. Okay. Hurry up, alright. Just a minute. 210. 100 and... I guess that'll work. I don't know if anybody notices this, but I tend to bring a nice selection of units. Like I tend to bring a balanced army, except with all factions except the Romans. Like the Romans just do not benefit from spear infantry at all, especially in this game. I found out that some of my friends that play Company of Heroes 2 will either have Rome 2 or Shogun 2. So if I can, I'll probably try to get them to play against me, not with me. Because I'm not much of a fan for 2v2s, 3v3s, or especially 4v4s, but I'm always willing to do them. Especially because 1v1s tend to be in short supply nowadays. Doesn't matter what Total War game you play. And I think that's actually true for most most RTS games. I'm never casting RuneScape though. I might in the summer.
As you command!
What are your orders? As you say! We are at your command!
Commander! Infantry at your command! Bactrians! At your service!
I think I'm gonna regret bringing 3 Bactrian Noble Horse and 2 Bactrian Royal Cav.
General!
But I might not.
Royal Cavalry! Bactrians!
Just love that voice actor.
Disbanding battle group!
Let's get her going.
Stand ready, you sons of fury! We will be as merciless as the storm today and wreck all before us. May the gods guide our hands today and make sure our blows are true.
So, I'm going to advance, but I'm going to also go over his army and try